Hey YouTube, we are looping back to Great League. So there's Great League Open and Great League Remix. And so we're going to go over Great League Remix here because it will change the meta significantly. So Great League Remix is where 20 Pokemon are banned. It's based on last year's usage of Ace and higher. So you have a ton of Pokemon on this list. I'll go over all of them quickly and then I'll highlight a couple and what that means for the meta. Venusaur, A9tails, Noctowl, Lanturn, Azumarill, Umbreon, Skarmory, Swampert, Pelipper, Sableye, Medicham, Altaria, walrein, Registeel, Defense Deoxys, Bastiodon, Frostlass, Galarian Stunfisk, Trevenant, and Obstagoon, right? So no real surprises on this list. You have Lanturn, Noctowl, Core, which is everywhere. You have Medicham as the best fighter in this. You have A9tails as the best Charmer. Venusaur is the best Grass. Umbreon is the best Dark, right? So it's basically taking out sort of like the best of everything here. Galarian Stunfisk and Bastiodon is the best, and Registeel has the best Steels, and Sableye is the best like Ghost, right? So lots of options moving forward. So you need one of two things. You can just kind of look at this list and just sort of think like, okay, with all these Pokemon gone, what becomes better? You know, you have a couple fairies gone. Does that make things better, like weak against fairy better? Because those are the two main ones. Or with all the steel gone, Bastiodon, Galarian Stunfisk, Registeel, does that mean you're going to see more double fairy teams, right? It depends. You can do both ways. I will show you how you do both ways. Let's look at the top Pokemon rankings here. Carbink is number one, and it was really frustrating because when I was putting teams together, they kept recommending Carbink on like every single team. The only way you can get Carbink is if you paid for the ticket. You only get one of them. To get good XL, you'd have to trade it with a friend, and then you need to invest XL candies into it. With all that, I'm not focusing on Carbink. I think there's going to be enough other Pokemon here. If you see it, you see it, sort of thing. But I would not build around it, or like, I mean, if you have one build around it, sure, but I wouldn't build a team against having to worry about that sort of thing. The first thing that I noticed on this list was the amount of normal Pokemon. Double, Vigoroth, Pidgeot is a half normal typing, Diggersby is the normal half normal typing, Lickitung, Munchlax. So a lot of just normal typing Pokemon, and I think that's because the main issue, if we go back to this, let's see if it, yeah. So if we go back to this for a second, the main issues of the main issue of Medicham and Defense Deoxys, right? Those are your two biggest counter users that don't take super effective from like the counters that the Double and Vigoroth were going against. So that's sort of strong there. And then to a certain extent, you can look at like the fairies and Sableye and stuff like that. I mean, Sableye, you'd wall the claws as a normal typing, but just not being able to hit anything there with the fighting fast move. So maybe that's the reason why they're so high. I think that like in any limited meta, Double and Vigoroth are always near the top, just how spammy they are, right? And then Diggersby, I like, again, most of the Diggersby is always fun because I just used it for the Retro Cup with Steel's banned, and its main strength is going against Steels, right? But in this meta, there's also a bunch of Flyers that are banned, which is your other main sort of weakness, right? So it's strong there. Pidgeot, if Noctowl is banned, why don't you just use Pidgeot, right? Easy substitute there. A lot of these you need to think about is just what can I substitute, right? So Obstagoon is banned. Scrafty jumps to the top as a counter Dark user. Did I say Swampert's banned? Swampert is not banned. Yeah, Swampert's banned. There we go. I was going to say Swampert's definitely banned. Swampert is banned. You put in your next Mud Boys, Quagsire and Whiscash, right? So it's very easy just to think like that. Registeel is banned. You put in Regirock. So that's kind of how this list is playing out. It's basically like all the top meta picks are banned. What is second version? Then you have stuff on here like all the other counter users are banned, like Defense Deoxys, Medicham. So Machamp is one of your top one. Most of your Steels are banned. So here's a Sandslash as your best Steel. Guzzlord's kind of like a one-off, but like you can say like Altaria is banned as the dragon, and a couple fairies are banned, which is your biggest problem. Plus Umbreon's banned as one of the best Dark users. So Guzzlord is a nice substitute. Golbat, right? Multiple Flyers, Altaria, the Owl are banned, so now you have, and all your Steels are banned. So now with all the like those, not all the Steels, but like the main Steels are banned. So you know, Flyer and Golbat, it's a nice substitute. So that's kind of how this list is shaping up. So lots of options on here. So I think it's going to be somewhat open-ish. I do think double Vigoroth will be on a lot of teams because, again, your only real hard answer is counter users. And you have Machamp, which would be a tough for these two. But then like Scrafty, you're also hitting super effective against with your counters. You're hitting super effective against each other with the counters. I'm sure there's other counters like Primeape and stuff like that you can use, but I think Vigoroth and Double will probably roam free mostly. I think with Trevenant and Venusaur Band, if I remember. Yeah, Trevenant and Venusaur Band kind of limits your grass options. Like Cress has the grass knot, which I think is going to be valuable. That's why I like kind of Cress here, because I think that's valuable, especially with a lot of Ghost Band. I think that it'll roam pretty free, or be a good safe swap anyways. So I think Quagsire is going to be pretty good at as an option here for just well-roundedness. So there's lots of options. Let's go over some teams here. So the first team I put together is, where is the, oh, there it is, sorry. Crest double line, right? These two are essentially going to roam free. Even your losses, like I said, like Machamp's a hard loss, but you still like, it's not even a filled in circle, which means that you're not even like getting destroyed because you can still counter and body slam spam or double kick and body slam spam back at it. And then you punish with Cress. So you pull out a fighter with one of these two, maybe doubled. You can do either or. I think double is just probably the better safe swap at this point over Vigoroth. So you lead Cress, double safe swap. Do fine in the mid game against whatever comes in. Cress punishes, Vigoroth roams free. Very easy team. I expect to see something very, very similar to this in multiple forms. I guess today. Team 2, I said Quag, in my opinion, is going to be one of the best ones. So it's interesting because there are a couple like Gliscorn and Ground Flyer, which just resists everything. Chestnut, as there is a grass, right? So you may see some Chestnut. I don't think I have Chestnut on a team, but you may see some Chestnut. But if you're going to see these two, I'm going to punish you with Charizard and Aurorus, right? Charizard, same thing. With Swampert and some of the main rocks like Bastion and stuff banned, I do think Charizard also has a ton of play in this, even though it wasn't on the top 20 list there. I think it has a ton of play in this meta, just because, again, some of your main Swampert, Lanturn, Azumarill, even Galarian Stunfisk that can hit the rock for double super effective, Bastion. Like, that's a lot of answers to Charizard that is gone. So I would not be surprised to see Charizard, especially as a flyer that can at least take those counters and double kicks from Vigoroth and double, right? And that's why it has a win there. And Aurorus is, again, a nice answer to cover Gliscor's weakness. And although it is weak to fighting, it's still pretty spammy and pretty strong overall to deal good damage, as I showcased the other day, thanks to the video subscriber. Golbat, like I said, with your main steals gone and your Noctowl band, Golbat seems like a fun play, right? Again, beats the counter users as a poison, as a flyer. Ice is obviously an issue, so we're going to cover ice in a second here. But like, great against the counter users that are in here, good against in neutral situations. A lot of stuff actually can't hit flyers and poison. It's kind of like an interesting typing, so you're going to do well there. You are weak to ice, right? So, or ice steel, Sandslash, Aurorus. So Surfetch as a counter user to deal with those. And then Dugong is, again, a pretty good safe swap in this meta. Like I said, a lot of rock band. Not that steel's a total issue because you now have the drill run. So it's just pretty good coverage, and your main answers in like Medicham and stuff like that are banned, right? So I think Dugong is a pretty good safe swap as well. Same thing, if you see like a double or Vigoroth as a counter user, you can still just like, looks like you win the double. You probably just like lower their attack multiple times and then drill run, right? So I think Dugong walks safe. So that's why I think there's a lot of Pokemon in this meta that can do well. In this one, I did like a ABA. So I started with Mandibuzz, just like, again, another flyer that's just more tanky. And if you're gonna see stuff like Cresselia having the Foul Play Dark Pulse, or Snarl and Dark Pulse, or Foul Play, is great to have. Super good coverage all around. Again, fairies are the main fairies are banned, Azumarill and a Ninetales. Not that I'm gonna go double. And that's why I went with Buzzhole next too. So I would start with Whiscash. I'm like, okay, what's my weaknesses? Let's cover some of those weaknesses down the board, like Toxapex, stuff like that. So you just cover your weakness, and then like, what else looks good in this? I'm like, Buzzhole's an interesting one because Buzzhole's kind of like a glass cannon. Whiscash and Mandibuzz are pretty tanky. Buzzhole like hits like a truck though, so you have it. You can put it on the lead or whatever, and just like superpower and bail or lunge, like and take switch, and then Mandibuzz and Whiscash should probably absorb. So yeah, like a lot of Pokemon will have playing this. Does double charm work? Yes and no. So basically, Diggersby double charm. You lead Diggersby, come out with a charmer to try and pull out a poison, Toxapex or something else. Diggersby will come in and ground that out, and then your other one runs free. Like I said, there's a lot in here that there's a few things like super weak to it. Like you're seeing like Chestnut, Zweilous, and Guzzle are just getting destroyed. But even in the neutral matchups like Double and Vigoroth and stuff like that, it's just like the charm damage nerf on Wiggly's. They do. I mean, Wiggly does have a bait move now, and Florges actually you aren't a charm user. You're a Fairy Wind user. So you have options there. Could you see double charm? Yeah, the options are a little more limited, but it's a potential. So if you're going to run something double weak to charm, like I did last line there, just heads up that you could potentially see a double charm team. And this one is just more balanced. So I start with Toxapex as I think, like, again, if I'm going to see double Vigoroth, counter users, stuff like that, and my main steals, like Toxapex should roam generally, not free, but your main answers in Swampert, Bastiodon, Galarian Stunfisk, Registeel are all banned, right? So Toxapex is also one that will roam way more free than it would in the other one. There is some like ground boys here that are an issue. Steals, there are a couple steals like Sandslash and stuff like that. So I'm putting in Primeape because Primeape is a pretty good counter user, and you can like you can see double weakness to Gliscor Golbat, but you can run like Ice Punch on Primeape to give him some coverage, and then Lickitung is just a nice solid meaty safe swap if you need it, right? So lots of options. We will see how it ends up going. I do think, like I said, there's a lot of ways you can go with this. I do think double Vigoroth are probably the safest. I think that without a lot of other fighters and fairies, I think Scrafty's pretty good. I think Quagsire, because of the main grass goner, is good. I think Diggersby is pretty good with the main flyers gone. I think Crest is generally good. Like, I think there's a lot of things that you can build teams with here. So it just depends which way you want to go. But again, I'm sure a lot of people are going to go something to the extent of Crest, double Vigoroth early, especially when there's doubles showing up on Saturday and Sunday in the wild. So a lot more people who don't have them, such as myself, are going to be hunting them. So stay tuned for that. I won't be able to, so I do have a video going live at 3 today. It is Great League is on as well. It is a Great League team because I had like 6 Great League teams from the first half of the season that I didn't get to cover. So that will be there. And then tomorrow, you're probably going to see another just open Great League team because I am at a concert tonight, so I will not have time to shoot a video. Anyways, that is it. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate the comment. Let me know in the comments below what you are using. And I will see you guys in the next one.